Hello everyone. My office is a bit more unorganized than usual, I'm sorry, but anyways. So this video is about my computer. You probably remember that I used to have a MacBook. I made the video, I switched to Mac, and I made some other videos about the Mac again, but as you can see, it's not here. And that's because a couple of months ago, I sold it. And here's the whole reason of why I did that, and take a close look. It still says MacBook Pro, even though this is a ThinkPad. We'll get to that later though. So, the MacBook. I bought it in January of 22, mostly because I was getting really sick of Windows. And you know what? It was actually pretty good, but yeah. Honestly, as the time went by, I started hating the MacBook more and more. It annoyed me that I couldn't plug anything in. It annoyed me that the fans were always running at maximum speed. It would annoy me that it was always super hot. It annoyed me that I could only afford the base model of that specific MacBook, which meant that I was stuck with 8 gigs of RAM and 200 gigs of SSD, and I could not upgrade that. And the worst thing of all of that is that I broke it. Basically, I was trying to clean the screen with my t-shirt, and for some reason, MacBook screens just like to stick onto fingerprints forever. It's impossible to take off the fingerprints. Look, this is an old video of mine that I've since unlisted. Check out all the fingerprints in the MacBook. You always grab it by the glass, so you always get fingerprints on it. So you have to, press a bit harder. And as I was going through the webcam, the screen it went black with a couple of lines and a crack of light in the middle. And yeah. Fortunately, my MacBook was used and the previous owner had AppleCare. And AppleCare sticks to the computer, so when I went to the Apple store, they fixed it for free. Do you know how much money that little quirk saved me? I'll pull it up right now. Repair MacBook Pro 13-inch Retina, €552. That plus labor would cost me about what the computer cost me in the first place. So since the warranty was ending in 2 months, I decided I am not gonna live with possibly breaking another display and it having to actually cost me $500. So I once brought it up to one of my friends who was also looking for a MacBook, and I said, you know what? I'll sell it to you. And indeed, that is not my MacBook anymore. It is now his. I will show you the box or something, but I don't have it anymore. I even gave him the Genius Bar invoice thing. Logically, Apple replaced without asking me the battery and the missing key that I had, which, thanks. Anyways, so I was left without a laptop, and I really wanted something that was the polar opposite of the MacBook. Something with ports, something that's properly cooled, something I can actually repair myself, and I can upgrade and even downgrade maybe. So, I bought a ThinkPad. This right here is a ThinkPad T480s, and it's pretty cool. And I genuinely think it's better than the MacBook Pro. And also better than the newer MacBooks. It's not as fast as the Apple Silicon MacBooks, and it's not the same battery life, but as just a computer, it's much more practical. You see these are ports, more than 2 fucking ports, and they're not like Thunderbolt 3 things. And there's also a SIM card slot in the back. This ThinkPad cannot actually use it, but I have a friend with the same model which does have the wireless card. So for those that wish for a Mac with cellular, this is it. And also I get a properly good keyboard. The MacBook's Magic Keyboard is honestly not very good. I get a touch screen, which can work on macOS. I just haven't set it up. The nipple thing, which is just fine. And, repairability. And I can change the RAM, and I can change the SSD, and I can change the battery. And I can even change the display and put something better on it. So even though I have a 1080p display, I could have a 4K display maybe. I could even get Windows Hello Face ID. Also, it has a cover for the camera, which is pretty cool. And it's actually properly cooled. The fan actually does something. And unlike Apple wants to think, it is not super bulky and thick and, ports making computer thick and heavy. Well, it's actually pretty thin and lighter than some of Apple's Macs. Anyways, let's talk about the system. Well, I've already said that I hate Windows, so of course I'm gonna run Windows on this. And even though I like Linux, and on this PC I am running Linux, for my workflow, it's not that good. I found a way to make it work, but yeah. So, why I bought a Mac in the first place, macOS is really the best choice I have. I get apps such as Premiere Pro and Photoshop and all this stuff. I get a proper terminal. Oh, the command line in Windows is so horrible. It's a Unix system and all the cool stuff about that. I get all of that in the macOS. So how do I run that? Let me get you the answer. With this magical USB drive. This is an almost perfect setup for running macOS on this computer. So yeah, I run Hackintosh. It's admittedly not the best, but I don't care. I've got audio problems which I solved literally yesterday. Bluetooth worked for only 2 days. And that friend who has the same ThinkPad, it has problems with the HDMI. It's not perfect, but it works. And that's all that I care about. And I do use it for everything. It's my main computer. So over here we have my current latest video, the Cantaria Vlog Day 5, link in description. I have edited entirely on the ThinkPad with macOS. It's admittedly not as fast as I would like it to be, but this is 4K footage, 8264, not the best for editing. And even though it doesn't have a good graphics card, it handled it. This is in Premiere. I'll edit this video on Final Cut and I'll let you know how it went. Over here, wow, information, okay there. So this Lenovo ThinkPad works better as a Mac than an actual Mac. I get all the benefits of macOS, you know, fancy gestures and stuff. AirDrop doesn't work with this network card, but if you replace it with a Broadcom card, it should work. You know, I get iMessage. I can go to the App Store and I can buy a Logic Pro for $230. I have tried it and it works. And at the end of the day, it's a MacBook with a USB-A port. That's all that I actually care about. Oh, and the best thing is, this computer cost me $250. $250. This is the cost of half a MacBook display. And if I break the display on this, it's like $90 and I can fix it at home without going to Genius Bar. And a RAM upgrade is only like $20 instead of like $400. And if I ever get tired of macOS, I can install Linux and it actually works. And also Windows actually works properly with that blue screen every fucking day. Mac. So again, I am really happy with this computer. It honestly does everything that I would need it to do. It's not as fast, but it just works. And I actually feel like I'm in control of this computer and I can do whatever I tell it to do. And it can even survive a drop of water. In fact, these holes right here, those are for draining water from the keyboard. And those who watch Louis Rossmann know that MacBooks just die for any reason. Without even putting water on them, these actually last. You can drop these computers and they don't break. Look, I can actually do this thing and I don't have to worry about it breaking. You know, the MacBook, oh, I could break the trackpad. Or, oh, I might clean it too hard and maybe it breaks. With this, I can actually do this and it doesn't break. And I don't have to be all, oh, I don't want to bend the aluminum. In fact, one of my friends accidentally sprayed like Windex and like sprayed on the lid of their MacBook and now they have like spots on the aluminum finish. They bought a brand new M2 MacBook Pro and it now means that it's basically impossible to resell. What do you want? And also, if this computer ever dies, I can just take off the SSD and copy the data without needing to have iCloud or a Time Machine drive. Anyways, I'm very satisfied with this computer, and I generally think that if all you want is a Mac laptop, it doesn't get better than this. It's not as fast, but after a couple of years you have to change the battery, and you cannot do that on a MacBook, or without some major drama. On this, you can find ThinkPads that literally have a removable battery. Like, you can literally just remove the battery and put a new one in without even turning the computer off. But with the whole Mac Hackintosh thing, there's a problem. So Apple has Apple Silicon now, which means they're not gonna support x86 builds of macOS for a long time. They have already replaced every Intel Mac with the Apple Silicon version, and now they're just waiting until it's reasonable to drop the x86 build to Mac. So this whole thing is not going to be long-lived, honestly. When it happens, will I buy a MacBook? Probably not. And even though app support for older versions of macOS is not very good, you can still use like Google Chrome and stuff, which is I have thought of buying a legitimate Mac desktop computer, but it's still too expensive. They're still like upcharging me like $500 for like 16 gigs of RAM. I'll live with this now. I generally think that this is the best Mac that you can buy right now. So yeah. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment, let me know what do you think about this thing. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.